Podcast. Hello and welcome to Perils of the Warp. This is episode 1, actually. Our last one was an intro. So, I'm your host, Roman, and the co-host.
I'm John.
There you go. We're going to be talking about fucking Warhammer and Warhammer accessories. Because fuck. That was some stuff that happened.
Oh, yeah.
And like we've said before, this is going to be a monthly podcast. And you can always like, comment, subscribe to the channel. You can always send us an email at citypod88@gmail.com. In the title, put Warhammer, or you can put Warp or anything you want. That's Warhammer related. John, what do you want? What do you want to start off with?
Well, I just want to start off by talking about Gathering Storms 2 and 3.
Mhm.
Just a quick little, I guess, recap on those because when we did episode 0, the intro episode, we only had Gathering Storm 1,
Mhm.
which was very exciting.
It was.
So Gathering Storm 2, it lets you use Eldar, Dark Eldar, and Harlequins in a single list. You can take anything you want from any of those 3 armies and put them together as long as you have 1 HQ and 2 troops like a CAD.
You should be excited if you play Eldar in any capacity.
Our friend Tony, who's pretty much the backing of Grimworks, he is Grimworks. He just started playing Warhammer with us, and he wanted to play Harlequins because he liked the mask and the artwork, and he doesn't really care so much for Warhammer. He just likes playing games and wanted to play this one with us. And I know this made it a lot easier for him to play because he was able to have more access, or rather access at all, to HQ choices, which Harlequins don't. And a Lord of War, which is the Incarnate.
Yeah. So now he has the Incarnate, but more than that is he can. Yeah, and it kind of sucks because he would need other codexes, but he can take other pieces from other armies. You know, he can use Eldrad, he can use any of the homunculi from the Dark Angels, Dark Eldar, and things like that.
He can use a Wraith Knight. I know he did show interest in that particular model. One of the things I do like, and I think, I haven't seen it play tested, but I think would be really good in this army is the Eldar Flamers, the Strength D Flamers.
Yeah.
It's a 5-man unit, Strength D, -1, so you can never get the remove from game.
Yeah.
But still, each wound can cause up to 3 wounds.
Nice.
And the Eldar, the Inari, they have this rule called Soul Burst, where whenever something dies, it could be friendly, if I'm not mistaken, friendly or enemy. A unit from the Inari army within 6 inches, I believe, might be 12 inches, can automatically either move, shoot, and I believe charge, and even use psychic power outside of those phases.
Yeah, that's one thing that I have seen. I haven't, honestly. Eldar aren't my favorite, or Dark Eldar, Harlequins, not really my bag, really. But I have seen a few battle reports about it. Everybody was concerned that, like, oh, it's gonna break it, it's gonna break the meta, and I can see how it can be a problem.
On
But
mini wargaming, this one guy, the chubby guy, Steve, he played the Inari and completely wiped his opponent on turn 1 using Soul Burst.
Yeah, that was the game that apparently they, or at least not on the YouTube. I don't know if it's in the vault.
It's in the vault.
It's in the vault. That, yeah, I did hear that, and I was like, yeah, that's pretty bad. But I mean, there's some things that maybe he got wrong. There's a lot of variables in that.
It was one of his first games with the army, so.
mistakes are bound to happen when you're playing with new rules, but um, it's one of those things that I see and I can see that's going to be annoying. Um, Especially if you're gonna get super competitive with it. I'm sure you can find something super annoying with it, but um, I mean, I don't have much to say. I don't see many Eldar players, at least here. But then again, I don't play that many games. I don't have the time to actually play a lot of games. But what about you, John? What's your whole feeling on this new list?
I like the second triumvirate. I think it really brings Eldar players out of the shadows. You know, like you said, we haven't really seen them in our hometown. I saw Eldar get played once,
Mm-hmm.
and I played against Eldar once and
Mm-hmm.
saw Harlequins get played only once. Just saw it in passing.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't something that a lot of people were playing with in our particular area.
Yeah.
And now I feel like people are gonna dust off their old Eldar armies and
Yeah, I remember one of the first two games that I played. Um, I remember it was against Dark Eldar, and I think I want to say yeah, I know for sure they won, but I don't know if it was just because of points or they actually board wiped me. Either way, I mean, I'm happy to see just other people play the game because uh, I know I want to make sure that people are still playing when I actually have time to play.
mm,
That's the big thing. But yeah, the second triumvirate looks cool as fuck. Honestly, it's just it looks better than the first triumvirate. To be honest with you, the first triumvirate's cool. I like Saint Celestine. I like Greyfax, even though it's an odd looking model, but I just like the hat and the armor and like how it all kind of puts together. And
Belisarius.
Belisarius Call. Um, he looks cool, but it's just one of those things where it's just like, yeah. But just from like an aesthetic point, that second triumph just looks badass. You know, this old Eldar in the dress, and then you have the Vizark. I remember the Vizark's name because he's like the warrior, the red warrior with the big blade, and then there's the god of death and rebirth. What's his actual name? Do you know?
No, I know they call him the Incarnate.
I didn't fucking incarnate. I don't get mixed up a lot with that. So, but yeah, it's cool. Moving on to Gathering Storm 3. Now, this was one that I was super excited for, because my boy Cypher is there, and I'm a Dark Angels player, but for a long time I had been wanting to make a Fallen army using the Chaos Space Marines rules with Cypher. So maybe that'll still happen. Then they had the Grey Knight, the captain of the Grey Knight. Then they had Big Papa Smurf himself.
Robote Gilliman.
Yeah. Um, Looks cool. I'm not like a big fan of vanilla Space Marines. You know what is it? I even forgot their name, the real name, Ultramarines. I'm not. John just rolled his eyes like, yeah, even I forgot. The Ultramarines not a big fan of. I'm sure I'll fall in love with the lore somewhere or another. But I'm a Dark Angels and a Blood Angels kind of guy. I like those kind of fucked up factions of the Space Marines. So I was really excited to see if there was going to be a new Cypher model, and
It's
then
a fucking beautiful model.
it is, it is probably it's probably the nicest model in that box, and that's saying a lot because the Rubik Gilliman is pretty good, but it's just super ornate and uh,
Yeah, the armor is really ornate, and then he has just like a plain Boy Scout face.
mm-hmm. Which I've seen
But
a lot of people say they're like, "Fuck that face!" Like I'm not gonna use that. I'm just gonna use
use the helmet.
the Space Marine helmet.
Yeah, but the reason why or at least the theory behind the ornate armor is that it's not Space Marine armor. Uh, Belisarius Cow took Eldar relic that he had found and shaped it to fit the Primarch, but that's supposedly Eldar armor,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why it was able to bring him back to life.
Maybe something to do with those soul gems that they always have. Maybe something to do with that.
Yeah,
Maybe.
maybe.
But yeah, I it's one of these things where we're gonna get into it in just a bit, but it's kind of disappointing with the rules, per se. But I'm sure the lore is great. Like that's the only reason I pretty much buy that book is to kind of the lore and how it's moving the story along and things like that. Um, as far as I know, the Emperor's not dead.
No, he's not. That was it was very what's the word? It was very underwhelming.
Mhm.
Gilliman got to Terra.
Mhm.
Um, he had a little. I guess he came across Magnus
Mhm.
on his way, and I'm not 100% sure what happened there.
Mhm.
Cypher came and saved Gilliman.
Okay.
Gilliman recognized Cypher and just kind of like, he saved me, so we're cool for right now. And then he made his way to Terra, where he found that everything that he fought for 10,000 years ago had just completely gone 180.
Mhm.
When the Emperor was walking about, he was all, "I'm not a god. There is no gods.
Mhm.
We're all about the truth
Mhm.
and science." And now it's like, oh, it's the God Emperor of mankind, and
Yeah. Pretty much exactly what Horace was fighting, or what Horace was always talking about, kind of came true.
who's the
And
bad guy now?
yeah, it's kind of like, and the whole thing is like that's why I like the lore so much is because it's not black and white. It never is.
No,
It's always different shades of gray. Not 50 shades. No, no, much
49 Shades.
69 shades.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
bad joke. But yeah, it's never cut and dry. It's always kind of there's always some truth in what each side says. It just kind of depends on where your allegiance lies for the God Emperor. That's right.
Hey, you know what? Uh, if you want to worship a fucking bag of rotten flesh and bones
Hmm.
sitting on a golden throne, then you go ahead. All right?
Isn't that kind of like Nurgle?
No,
But
Nurgle's alive. He's rotting, and he's alive, and he's happy, and his followers are happy, and
that's
there's
always
a camaraderie there that
that
nobody else has.
that's always been something weird to me with Nurgle. It's like he's a chaos god. Like he wants to see the world plunder, but he's just like, hey, it's all right. Like don't worry about it. Like just do your thing. I don't care. All right, little Nurglings, just go spread some rot. Go take a bath in that human's water or something. It's always weird that he's like the happy-go-lucky god, but he's still like, yeah, I still want everything to die. The when it comes to the rules, we don't have the book. We're gonna say that right now for transparency's sake. But John did post something in one of the groups, the main group that we are part of, called Red Star Gaming. Shout out, guys.
What's up?
Yeah, and one of the guys actually helped us and answered some of the questions for that. So, John,
Swanger.
there you go,
Thanks for the
Swanger.
help.
Yeah, thank you very
Yeah,
much.
because I really wanted to know what I now know, even though it was disappointing,
Hmm.
to get this episode done.
Yes. Um.
But basically, you play this third triumvirate,
Mhm.
and your whole army has stubborn, which means in close combat you don't get negative modifiers for
Yeah.
fallen soldiers.
Hmm. Not,
I mean, you're playing
nothing.
Space Marines, and
Nothing too
yeah, you're
great there.
already and they show no fear, so it's
Yeah.
not like anything that really mattered.
Hmm.
The biggest disappointment for me was the Fallen Angels.
Okay.
Um, I was under the impression that because they were Dark Angels,
Hmm.
they'd be able to take drop pods,
Okay.
and that would give finally Chaos a little bit more of a even playing ground to
Hmm.
where we can now do the drop pod assault
Hmm.
and walk across the field with all the demonic goodness, while the fallen angels drop in and uh, either multi-mota or grab vehicles,
Hmm.
which is what a lot of drop pods are there for.
Hmm. And I hear you. I hear you, and this is coming from somebody that actually can take drop pods and everything. Um, but you should have never really expected that to begin with. Uh, it we've kind of established with these triumvirates that there's good rules there, but they're clearly not thinking of like a competitive thing. They're thinking more of a narrative thing, and narratively, that doesn't make sense because Cipher is completely into shadows.
Hmm.
That's his whole thing.
And the Fallen do have infiltrate.
Exactly.
It's
So,
just it's a little it's it's not like completely random. I mean, there's only
mhm,
two table edges, and then there's the chance that you can choose your table edge.
mhm.
But still, it doesn't have the precision that a drop pod has.
Yes. But I agree that he does have like precision, like that's something. Um, but you can't hide a drop pod. You can't hide a rhino. You know what I mean? They're things that are just they're gonna, and for him to be on foot makes sense from a fluff standpoint, from a narrative standpoint, a lore standpoint. It all makes sense that he would have that. So um, it I can't feel bad for Chaos players right now. Because y'all got something that y'all needed. Now, was it a brand new codex? No, but I don't know how much. I've been hearing a lot of rumors. Of course, Eighth Edition is pretty much around the corner. GW's already pretty much verified it with a
Yeah, they
joke,
confirmed that it'll be this year.
and everybody's saying June, July, somewhere around there. That's usually when they drop new editions. So Eighth Edition is around the corner, and people are scared because of they're gonna AOS 40k. Um, Not having played AOS, I can't really give anything. I can't say anything. I'm sure they're gonna have. There's always gonna be a, a, a small player base that's gonna be like, I'm gonna drop the game anyway. When Eighth Edition comes out and they actually read the rules and whatever that may be. But if it makes it simpler to play and it's more accessible, which is a big thing, accessible to get people in, I'm all for it. And one of the big rumors is that they're kind of stepping away from codexes altogether. That they're gonna do kind of like what AOS does with battle tomes, where they're gonna kind of gather everything and everybody that wants that can use that. Now it's different because there's different factions, and it's kind of gonna be like you're either Imperium, you're Eldar, you're Xenos, or uh, or like Chaos. So I don't know. I don't know the logistics. I have no idea on what that is, but it's one of those things where it's Chaos is in a good place right now. I mean, y'all have Magnus, who by all accounts is good, not broken, but good. Y'all just got a brand new model for the Lord of Change. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
You cannot complain about that model. That model is fucking beautiful. Um, you finally have representations for Brimstone Horrors. I mean, that in itself is great for Zinch. But Chaos Space Marines have now these awesome detachments that they can take. Case in point, my favorite Chaos faction has always been, pretty much will always be, uh, Emperor's Children, Noise Marines, and all that kind of stuff. Awesome. Now that um, they have a competitive detachment now, and it's not for every Chaos faction, for every Chaos Space Marine faction, but some of them just got good shit. I mean, you can't deny it. So, you don't need to use the fall in that way with a drop pod or any kind of things. Just kind of you'll figure out a way to use them if you really want to. Um, as far as the other factions, I know nothing about Grey Knights. I don't. I think he's like a Psyker level 3 or something.
I think he's a level 3. One of the things that he has that other Grey Knights don't is that he can take from other disciplines.
Okay.
Because Grey Knights are pretty much exclusively Sanctic,
Yeah.
and he can choose. They can
Demonic
choose.
Sanctum.
Yeah.
Cool, cool. And as for Gilliman, I haven't heard anything. I
He-
don't know his stat line. I'm sure it's a Primarch stat line with
yeah, it's a
eights, 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 eights.
it's eights and sevens.
Mm-hmm.
Toughness 7, I believe. His sword is the sword of the emperor. So on sixes it's strength D.
Damn.
Yeah. A lot of I know when he came out, a lot of people like I saw this one guy. He's like, oh, we house ruled Gilliman to 650 to match Magnus, and
Uh,
that was pretty stupid.
what's his cost? What's his
I
point
think it's
cost?
like 350 or something like that.
But I mean, how do you feel about that? If somebody house rules it, like it's that is it that powerful
It's
a piece?
not. First of all, it's a monstrous creature.
Mm-hmm.
So you cannot put it with Space Marines.
Mm-hmm.
You can't attach an HQ to him. You can't do anything to him to give him a meat shield.
Mm-hmm.
He's there by himself, walking across the battlefield.
Yeah.
Um, I know one thing that I realized, and I'm sure people are realizing, is that Space Marine Scouts, right now with Primarchs coming out, are going to be a lot better because their snipers auto wound on a 4 up.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Bolters will look at a Primarch and be like, all right, we need sixes.
Mm-hmm.
Scouts are like, we need fours, like always.
Yeah.
And I think a unit of 10-man scouts with sniper rifles is going to put more wounds on the Primarch than a unit of attack marines. Um, and you definitely don't. I don't think it would be wise to try to lock him down in close combat. His weapon
Mm-hmm.
skill is too high. You're going to be hitting on fives and sixes,
Mm-hmm.
wounding on sixes. He has a 3 up invulnerable save.
Now, I mean, I play Dark Angels. I don't know how beneficial it is to have him pretty much join the army, like lead the army. I don't think it'll hurt, that's for sure. But if I can't really protect him in any way, it's kind of like, well, so he's just gonna be a big target. So that's cool. But I'm basically wasting 300 points or 300 plus points on a distraction.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's really worth it. Maybe somebody can comment below or email me and tell me that I'm an idiot and that's actually a good plan. Um, but this and that's the one thing I don't know is Adepticon is happening, and at Adepticon GW had a presentation. Now, whether or not that presentation is going to continue the Gathering Storm, or if the Gathering Storm was just 3 parts, and there's going to be a new name for this new thing, but Death Guard is coming, and god damn, those are some nice looking models. The what are they? The plague zombies.
Yeah, I do believe that those are going to be plague zombies, so you no
Yeah,
longer have to use cultists as zombies.
but they look fucking and the thing about it is Nurgle, so they all have smiles on their faces,
Yeah.
and they have like these hideous growths and all this cool shit. They're awesome to look at, but whatever those knights are they gonna be just plague marines? Are those new scopes for plague marines?
It looks like it's
Because
different things because we got plague marines,
mm-hmm,
some pretty cool looking models. Lots of broken armor, lots of teeth,
mm-hmm,
some fat guys.
mm-hmm.
The Nurgle three skulls. One thing that I was really excited for is we got Terminators.
Now the Terminators are do they look like normal Terminators?
They most certainly do not.
I knew it
Um,
because I was having a discussion with our buddy Trent. Trent's a fellow Warhammer enthusiast and was super excited to see this. When I saw that particular, I love that the way that looks. He has like the helmet covers his eyes and he only has like these
yeah, the helmet
super
breaks
huge
off
smile.
and he's smiling.
Yeah, and I.
Obviously with the Nurgle thing, he's gonna have feel no pain.
Mhm.
Which Terminators with Mark of Nurgle now have feel no pain. Pretty much everything in the Sons of Mortarion army has feel no pain.
Okay.
So you're gonna be looking at basically they're gonna do for Terminators what Scarab Terminators did
Okay,
for Zinch by the
nice.
looks of it.
Uh huh.
This guy has a heavy weapon. Um, it kind of looks like a las cannon-ish type thing.
Uh huh.
It's a little out of focus from the camera angle.
Mhm.
So we're definitely gonna have. It's not gonna be your average Terminator.
Yeah, it looks awesome though. I mean, all the designs that they showed off are awesome. They look great. What their rules are gonna be, who knows?
I mean, we did get a lot of really nice rules with Traitor Legions
Mhm.
for Death Guard.
Yes.
Everything with Veterans of the Long War, which anything can take it for free except for occultists and vehicles.
Uh huh.
Anything with Veterans of the Long War got Relentless and Feel No Pain
Mhm.
at the cost of 1 initiative point, so everything's initiative 3, just like Plague Marines.
Mhm.
So Relentless is a pretty big deal,
Uh huh.
because, I mean, if you're playing the Warband has a requirement of one Havoc squad,
Okay.
but you can play up to 3. So you can have Havoc squads of last cannons or heavy bolters, depending on what you want to do, and move around the field and still fire at full ballistic skill.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm only again since excuse me, um, since I'm not a chaos player, I'm kind of like okay, whatever happens happens. But I know since you're a chaos player, you're really invested into what's gonna happen, especially since you are primarily Nurgle, right?
Yes.
You that's what you like. Um, what do you? We'll get into the big thing in just a bit, but what do you kind of expect from Death, or what are you hoping for realistically, or what do you look
What
for?
I'm hoping for realistically, um, and it might not be like something that people consider good,
Mm-hmm.
but you know I love fluff. It's my armies are built around fluff, and I would really like Terminators specifically. But anywhere else I can take it, maybe a sergeant, for special weapons. I want Man Reapers. Typhus, the leader of the army,
Yeah.
has a Man Reaper. I think there should be more Man Reapers in Plague Marines. Not the greatest weapon in the world. They're unwieldy, +1 strength, AP2, two-handed, with killing strike
Mm-hmm.
or death blow or whatever. Where if you roll a 6, it's insta kill.
Okay.
Probably around, I guess, somewhere around the same. What am I looking for? I guess battle wise, it's probably around the same as a power axe.
Okay.
Um, your unwieldy, your AP2.
Mm-hmm.
With the power axe, you're +2 strength. With this one, you only +1 strength.
Mm-hmm.
With the Man Reaper, though, it's two-handed, so you don't get an extra attack,
Yeah.
but you do have the severing strike.
Mm-hmm. And you're looking for that mainly with like Plague Marines
Well, for Terminators, because that's how it
for
was with
Terminators. Right?
30K.
What if what we're seeing in these pictures is kind of like the my Dark Angels have the Deathwing Knights, which are all close combat.
Mhm.
What if they kind of sold you a dual kit with these Terminators, where yeah, you can actually make a Knight squad where they can actually carry all um,
Man Reapers.
those Man Reapers. Oh, is that something that you'd actually run, or is that just something that you
That's
can?
something I'd run in every fucking game.
And what about I know me and you have talked about this off the podcast and quite a few times. The plague zombies.
Uh-huh.
What was your idea for the plague zombies again?
The Plague Zombies, when I first started playing 40K, I was playing Plague Zombies because Typhus was my first HQ. Um, I would always play the required 2 troop choices.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be 10-man cultist squads that were Plague Zombies. And they never really did much for me. Um, I would use one of the squads as meat shields for Typhus so I can get him across the field and use his hive power, which is once per game. It's a large blast template centered over Typhus.
Mm-hmm.
Each model under it gets hit at AP2 poison to 4 up.
Okay.
So it was a pretty decent close combat killing machine, but I think I was just playing both things very wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I haven't played Typhus for a while. I just dug them out again so I could play them again.
Mm-hmm.
The thing about Plague Marines is that they are cultists without shooting weapons. I had always thought that they should have had Mark of Nurgle,
Mm-hmm.
gone up to that toughness 4 to make them a little more durable because they have no armor save whatsoever. They have T-shirts, which is a 6-up, which everything goes through,
Mm-hmm.
and then they have a 5-up Feel No Pain. But with the toughness 3, a lot of shit insta kills them, and I don't get that Feel No Pain.
Yeah.
So I had always thought that they should have had Mark of Nurgle, which gave them the +1 toughness. Um, but now I'm working on a list right now, which has what is it? It's a bare minimum of 4 units of zombies now.
Okay.
I'm gonna do with them what zombies are supposed to do, and that's just swarm.
Mm-hmm.
2 man was definitely or 2 squads of 10 men was definitely too little to play. I didn't realize it at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm starting to see um, that I should have been playing more zombies. Or 50 points for 10. That's not a lot,
Not
really.
at all. 200,
Um,
200 points for. I mean, even if they're good for tying in combat,
yeah.
they're good for just. They don't have OPSEC, do they?
They're troop choices, so yeah.
Okay, so they do have. Okay,
Objective
okay.
secured.
Objective secured. Okay. Um, I mean, yeah, that sounds like a good idea, and I think I'm glad that you're seeing that just through playing. I'm hoping that I can start playing some more games and I can start really looking into it and how to make a more decent Dark Angels list without running so many damn bikes. But it seems like that's their bread and butter, and I really can't get away from it. Um, but let's talk about the real deal Holyfield of the Death Guard. And they did not show him,
They showed his scythe.
they showed his scythe. So Mortarion, the next demon Primarch, will be making its way. What is it? April? Are they planning this for April,
Um,
or is this maybe something that they're holding off for Eighth Edition?
I don't remember actually seeing a date on the.
I know. Yeah, I know they didn't have a date, but would you suspect that this is their April release, or you think they're gonna maybe take a break from 40K and focus on AOS for a bit?
One thing I did read was that they were going to start slowing down the timetable.
Mm.
I do personally believe that Gathering Storm was just what do you call it, a trilogy.
Mm.
That the Mortarion will start a whole new storyline. I did read somewhere that somebody was speculating that they were going to start slowing down now.
I mean, it makes sense. I would expect them to maybe hold that off for Eighth Edition, especially since GW just dropped the I don't know what they're called, the new dwarves for
Yeah.
AOS, the steampunk dwarves, uh, cauldron, something like that. Something that is cauldron esque wordplay. Um, so I assume that that's going to be taking place for a little bit. I think they're going to focus on AOS for a bit until June probably when Eighth Edition comes out, and I think that's what they're going to do with Death Guard. So
I know a lot of people were speculating. Um, the rumor mills were going that Mortarion was going to be part of Triumvirate, just like Gilliman was.
okay,
That it was going to be a brand new Abaddon model,
ooh,
um, a Demon Prince, which was on Cadia, Urikawas or something like that,
okay, yeah, yeah,
and Mortarion. That would be the new Triumvirate. Obviously, that's going to be more than $80, but um, I mean, if Mortarion's going to be anywhere near the size of Magnus, I don't see him coming out as a 3-piece box.
That's the thing. I don't know if anybody's really gonna be as big as
I mean, nobody's gonna
Magnus.
be as big as him because he was the biggest Primarch
Yeah,
even
yeah,
when he
yeah.
was human
But I
or
mean,
pseudo human.
yeah.
But I
Uh,
mean, it's still gonna be a pretty big piece.
I mean, I don't know how. I mean, yeah, he's kind of bloated, and you want to really show that off. Um, but would it be like a 60 mil base, like one of the?
He'll be bigger than Gilliman. I'm betting anything on that. He's gonna be bigger than Gilliman,
Yeah.
model wise.
I mean, I just want to see him. I want to see what they like the design for him. I mean, that scythe itself just looks fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm hoping out hope for fucking for a fulcrum, for a full demonized fulcrum. Um,
Well, they've already showed artwork of him with his
mm,
slithering snake body.
mm-hmm.
And he was the one that slit Gilliman's throat, so it would make sense for him to be coming out pretty soon.
Yeah.
Um, my speculation on the next Imperial Primarch is that it's going to be the Lion.
Yeah.
Because the Lion is on Caliban,
Yep.
hidden underneath the surface,
Mm-hmm.
and the Emperor was the only one who knew that he was there.
Yeah.
And he was waiting to call him
Mm-hmm.
in a time of need
Mm-hmm.
when he died.
Yeah.
And now that he's had that long talk with Gilliman,
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure he told Gilliman like, "Hey, there's this dude. You
Yeah.
should you should go hang out with him.
You should go wake him up.
Tell him to get
Fuck,
the fuck up."
fucking lied to me like, what? What's going on? What do
I
you mean?
slept how long?
What do you mean? There's secrets. He has amnesia when he wakes up. Oh my god, he's a star of a JRPG. He has amnesia. Um, when it comes to, I mean, that's been a rumor for a while though. I am more than happy if that happens, just because, fuck man, Dark Angels. I firmly believe that Dark Angels get shafted in terms of uh, support. But I mean, I can't really complain because lore wise, yeah, they're always keeping secrets. They're not really accepting of new technology because they don't know what that'll bring. So it makes sense, but fuck, man, I've been wanting to play uh what are those big ass armored dudes? The Centurions.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to play Centurions, but with Dark Angels, I can't take them unless I ally them in from another Space Marine
Well, there you
faction.
go. Play Ultramarines. You got Gilliman. You got Centurions.
Yeah, but then I can't. That's awful. That's not good. Then like my Dark Angels are gonna be just like Marines, and that's all I can take. But it's just one of those things where like I would me as a Dark Angels player feel like you as a Chaos player, kind of like, why don't I get this? Why can't I get this or why can't I get that? I just have to accept that's just the way it is. But if I can get a Primarch, that's awesome. Like Ultramarines are the. It's weird that they're the poster boys. Nobody plays them. No one that I know plays them except for Jay. Everybody else that plays Space Marines is not playing actual Ultramarines.
Yeah.
Shout out to you, Jay, because you're the only dude playing fucking Smurfs. Um, when it comes to Dark Angels, I hope that's true. It would be really cool to see a lion piece and maybe I don't know, maybe a new Belial piece or fuck, give me a new Azrael piece because
Metal
yeah, that fucking
theater.
and it's not a great looking. It is not a great looking model. Um, but it's just kind of expected with the metal cast. It's not what it was a totally different design process that they went through. So, kind of hoping that that's what it is. Now, do you think it's gonna be something like that? Do you think it's gonna be like they? Okay, let's kind of break it down with the first three books. With the first three, Gathering Storm, it was Imperial, then it was Eldar,
And then it was Imperial again.
and then it was Imperial again. So for fairness sake, if it is going to be the Mortari and Abaddon, they're the first triumvirate for Chaos, then that's cool. Then it'll be a Lion, and then maybe another just for.
Well, one thing me and Tony were talking about,
Uh
and it's nothing. There's no rumors going around for it. It's just me and Tony both like Necrons,
mm-hmm.
and we were talking about what a Necron triumvirate would look like.
Okay.
Obviously, there'd be some, two badass characters.
Like a Catan or something like that.
Well, that would be the big piece,
Ah.
a new Catan shard,
Mm-hmm.
and that would be like the big thing, and
Mm-hmm.
then two other guys for the triumvirate. I personally would love to see a whole new Catan.
Yeah, that would be cool. I mean, that's the thing with like Warhammer is like I want everybody to have something, for their armies. That's why I feel so bad for like um Tyranids. Awesome looking models, but there's not a lot that they can play with to make a competitive list at least. Um, I know one of the Red Star members, our buddy, who is it, William? Will?
Well,
Will? I know he was complaining about, uh, why can't I make another list with, different things? And I kind of agree with him. I kind of feel bad that it's like, well, why can't you? Like, that sucks that you don't have that. And fuck, talk about like Tyrion is getting kind of shafted. They haven't gotten anything new. Um, Necrons started fucking really. They started the Kyrian attachments, so I don't feel bad for Necrons, and I don't feel bad for Eldar. I don't feel bad for Tal. That's the one faction that I think everybody kind of has a problem with, unless you play it. Is Tal, but I mean they look cool. That kind of we'll see with Eighth Edition how the shooting phase goes and how that's really gonna happen. Like how they're really gonna affect the shooting phase. I really hope they make assault like a thing. You know what I mean? Because as of seventh edition, assault really does nothing. Like there's no benefits to really get into an assault. Um, so I hope they kind of change that. I really do.
assault really does slow down after the initial charge because most things are going to be weapon skill 4.
Yeah.
So you need force to hit. After the charge happens, the next turn, most things have 1, 2 attacks tops.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a 50% chance of hitting them,
Mm-hmm.
and then a 50% chance of wounding them, and then they get their armor save. You're gonna end up with a lot of dudes that just stay on the field doing nothing. That really does need some kind of improvement.
Yeah. Um, what do you think needs the biggest change
Well,
for eighth edition?
I know what they were saying is that they wanted to make um, combat like shooting, where you have a number that you hit on no matter what. With shooting,
Mm-hmm.
your ballistic skill 4, you're hitting on 3 ups.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing can change that. You're hitting
Mm-hmm.
on 3 ups. So that's one thing that they wanted to do with weapon skill.
Oh,
If
like.
you're a space marine, then no matter what, you're hitting on 3s or 4s.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of having a, what's your weapon skill? Oh, I think I'm hitting on 5s.
Mm-hmm.
Let me look at the book.
Yeah, especially for us new players. I constantly have to look at all right to hit, to wound. All right, because it's just not ingrained in my brain yet, and I that's something that they did for an AOS, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like there's a certain number that you have to hit, and that's what you hit, but it affects some things affect your saving throws and or what do they call them? Um, I think it's armor saves as well. I'm not too sure in AOS, but um, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's kind of coming around the corner, and I'm excited about it. I want to. I honestly, you know me. I'm kind of accepting of a lot of things, like just rules in general, and I think that's just from years of playing.
One thing I did hear or
Uh
read about was that they were going to change the movement.
Okay. Chill.
So like right now, anything that's on foot
Mhm.
moves 6 inches.
Mhm.
Well, they were going to change that so that everything has its own rule. Space Marine, looking at it, has like longer legs, more powerful legs, so it moves 6 inches. Well, a guardsman is just a regular human,
Uh huh.
so it probably only let him move 4 or 5 inches.
Okay.
Tyranids are what do you call it? Quadrupeds, I think that's the
Yes.
word.
Mhm.
Um, so maybe their troops can move 7 inches.
Yeah.
That's one thing I heard was going to happen, which I personally didn't care too much for that because that just
Uh.
means having to know a lot more stuff than you already do.
Yeah.
But that is something I did read about.
But it makes sense. I mean,
Yeah.
just from a logical kind of standpoint, it makes sense. Space Marines are kind of the. I mean, I guess humans are just humans, but Space Marines aren't humans, and uh, maybe Eldar move just as fast as Space Marines, things like that. I would assume they move a little faster though. But yeah, that's pretty much all we had to cover this week. Anything else you want to talk about in
Um.
particular?
Um. Well, I do have play of the week.
Ah, okay. Here we go. Play of the week.
And this one is from me,
Oh,
actually.
all right.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Let's see.
Well,
Let's see what you got.
have a
Let's.
little self love here because I haven't had enough of that this week.
All right. Impress me.
All right, so I'm playing against Space Wolves.
Close my eyes. Okay. Space Wolves. Okay. Got it.
Okay, both it's 3,000 points, so there's a
That's,
lot of shit on the table.
that's a lot of points. What are you playing? By the way.
I am playing Chaos, Space Marines, and Chaos Demons.
Okay. Got it.
Okay, I have Karn,
All right. All right.
um, and with the Demon Prince of Korn,
Okay. Okay.
and a unit of Berserkers,
Mhm.
and a unit of Cultists.
Okay.
And then I'm playing the Rahadi War Sect, which is Magnus. My first game with Magnus.
Ooh, nice.
And three Exalted Sorcerers. And then I just do the Exalted Sorcerers with the Cultists for meat shields.
Okay.
And then it was such a dick list. I didn't realize how much of a dick list it was. I was playing Great Unclean One with a Demon Prince of Nurgle as my heavy.
Uh-huh.
Peen Cores as troops to summon stuff.
Mhm.
Um, 15 Bloodletters with a Herald of Corn with the Crimson Crown, which gives everything +1 attack.
Okay.
Um, and so it's turn one. We each get we're playing out of the book. There's 6 objectives, plus everything else that you roll for that the book gives you. You know.
Mhm.
So it's my first turn. I pull my objectives. One of them is destroy a vehicle.
Okay.
So I'm like, all right, we're gonna try Magnus because he had a Land Raider and a Razorback that were lined up, one in front of the other. Both of them had HQs.
Okay. Okay.
So Magnus is across the field, directly across the field from them.
Mhm.
So he flies in as far as he can fly.
Okay.
I throw 6 dice at Gaze of Magnus. Gaze of Magnus requires 5 dice
Mhm.
on 2 ups because it's Magnus.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna throw 6 because I always get ones. Didn't get a single one, and beam went off and rolled a 6 on the Land Raider, removed from game, and rolled a 5 on the fucking blah, 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 blah. What do you call it? Razorback,
Razorback. Mhm.
and destroyed that. So his HQs had to pop out, and
Yeah.
he didn't have them with troops. It was just an HQ in each one.
Ooh. Okay.
One of them was his.
Warlord.
Um, it was a librarian, but the Space Wolf librarian, the Rune Priest.
Rune Priest. There you go.
And then inside the Land Raider, because he had a formation that around the Land Raider.
Okay.
And the formation required a Tech Priest, so he had the Tech Priest in the Land Raider to keep it alive.
Okay.
That didn't work out. So both of them landed onto the field, and I had another objective that was kill a HQ or slay the warlord or something.
Uh-huh.
So after that, everything was just able to shoot the fuck out of this little standalone guy
Mhm.
that's sitting out in the open. And I mean, there's only so many armor saves you can make when you got that much firepower coming down on you.
Yeah. Yeah, you're a fucking jerk.
Yeah,
For sure.
So with Magnus, I used the Primaris power where you can choose how many dice to roll.
Okay.
So I chose 3,
Mhm.
and that gave me 5d6. And I rolled all 5 of those d6, added all of that together,
Uh-huh.
and that was how many shots Magnus was taking at the one Rune Priest at Ballistisco. Whatever Magnus Ballistisco is, so I was hitting on 2s, and then
Jesus.
wounding on 4s, and it did not survive. So I got 2 objectives right off the back.
Okay. Do you remember how many shots you got?
I believe it was like 22, 23.
Oh, you.
It was in the low 20s.
You fucking jerk. All right.
And then Magnus was just few inches away from objective 6, I believe.
Mhm.
So on the next turn, I was able to just drop him in, grab objective 6, and keep throwing spells out. So Magnus did a lot of fucking work, and I did not know he was gonna do that.
Well, to your opponent,
Sorry.
I say sorry. Because god damn it. But again, hey, opponent, that's gonna be me whenever I play John, because he's probably gonna take that and it's gonna wreck my ass. So I'm gonna feel your pain soon. Don't worry about it. But all right,
I'm Nurgle, so I feel no pain.
I'll keep being Nurgle and fucking Magnus is there.
Hey, don't worry about it.
For a fluffy pair, you don't fucking take into account fluff at all. At least in that game, you asshole.
But it was
Ah,
3,000 points. I don't have that much. I had to take everything literally I had. I didn't take a knight because that would have been fucking mean.
mm-hmm.
Um, but everything else was pretty much everything I had, you know?
I like how I like that. I couldn't take a knight because that was mean, but you took Magnus.
I didn't know he was going to be like that.
Oh, you knew. You're just being a dickhole.
I didn't know.
But I think that wraps up the first episode of Perils of the Warp. And like I said, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you have any comments you want to throw away, if you want to talk about any rumors you know about 8th edition,
If you have any plays of the week you would like to submit,
exactly, go ahead, drop them in the comments below. And also, you can email us if that's your thing, citypod88@gmail.com. And go ahead in the title, go ahead and put 40K or anything 40K related, and I'm sure I'll read it and look it up and see what's going on there. But don't forget that we also do have plenty of other shows not catered to just this nerdy little game that we play, but other things as well, like the City Podcast, are kind of
that's an acronym.
for Can I Trust You? And that is more of a kind of catch-all where we just kind of talk shit about anything we want. But thank you for listening. Again, my name is Roman, and
I'm John.
we still don't have a sign off for it.
No.
We never really thought of a sign off for it, but
See you at the tower.
this isn't Destiny. This isn't Three Opponents Down. But either way, thanks for listening to Perils of the Warp #1. Goodbye.